is blue light really bad for you, or is this some propaganda that's being shared by people in order to sell you blue blockers? So this topic is very important because a lot of people are, as humans, we like to be extreme, and we like to just think, there's one end of the spectrum and the other, there's nothing in between. And that's why we see questions these days like, which types of blue light are bad for you, and, how do you avoid all blue light? So this topic is going to be really important because it's going to give you a better understanding of why blue light is good or bad in certain contexts. And if you enjoyed the topic, or if you get some value from today's video, make sure that you hit the subscribe and notification button below. That's going to make sure that you get a notification as soon as we have new videos. As things go with things like social media and the algorithm, half the time if we put something onto like our group, it often doesn't get to you as the end user. So make sure that you hit subscribe, and then you'll be notified as soon as we have videos on, be it red light therapy, circadian rhythms, anything to do with light and general health, and then you will find out a whole bunch more information. So today's topic, we're talking about blue light, and as I said, we like to go to the extremes. We tell people that fasting is good for you. Now you get people who pop up breatharians, and they just live on sunlight and water. So we like to always go to the extreme version and push things without understanding that there's a very happy medium somewhere in the middle. And that's exactly what has happened with blue light. Everyone's talking about how blue light is bad, so people think that you need to avoid all types of blue light. If blue light was bad for you, then as you can see on the graph here, we would all be dead. Even during sunrise and sunset, there is a certain amount of blue light, and then during the day, obviously more and more blue light does start popping up. So if we were, there's no specific frequency. As you can see, there's a broad spectrum there across the entire blue range of light that we would be exposed to during the day. So blue light in and of itself is not a bad thing. The problem comes in when we start looking at what's happened with lighting these days. So some of the older lights, I just want to give you an example. Those incandescent light bulbs, those are the ones with the filament in them. Those never used to cause as much problems as we see these days with indoor lighting. And the reason for that is if you look at an incandescent bulb and you look at the spectrum that it emits, very similar to like a sunrise or sunset. So there's not a lot of blue, and it's very high in the red and even infrared colors that are emitted. Now these types of lights aren't very energy efficient. So what we've basically done, smart humans that we are, we've decided to cut out those kinds of light that aren't very good at lighting or vision, and we've basically created very high blue light lights, such as the LEDs you can see on the screen here, where there is that missing component of red and infrared. And that is where the first problem pops in. So in nature, whenever you would be exposed to blue light, as you saw just going back to the sunset, and that would obviously be for sunrise as well, there would always be or during the daytime, sorry, there would always be a balancing red and infrared component of that type of light. So blue light can be very stimulating for your cells. It can generate a lot of stress within your cells. So you need that balancing out red and infrared in order to make sure that the cell can handle that stress from the blue light. That's what would happen in nature. But then when we look again at LEDs, you're getting that really sharp blue spike without the red and infrared. So that's the first problem, is that it is a completely unnatural component to be exposed to that much blue light without that much red and infrared. On the other side, you could be exposed to a lot of red and infrared if you looked at the sunset or sunrise. And that's where red light therapy comes in, is that it's kind of similar to that, and we don't need to worry too much about adding in the blue. Then you're just doing pure regeneration, which is why red light therapy is so good at countering some of the effects that we get because we're exposed to so much blue light on our day-to-day lives, be it indoors or at work or whatever. Then we are exposed to these kind of LEDs. Now the second problem is more to do with the timing. So the concentration, when you're being exposed to blue light, you should have the balancing out red and infrared. But the other problem is that blue light is also would only be available to us, or we would only be exposed to it during the daytime. And that has basically created a hormetic response within us, or hormonal response within us, in order to signal to our brain that it's daytime. Okay, so I want to try something new today. I'm going to use a sketch pad, and before I even start, let me just preface that my drawing skills aren't the best, especially when I'm using a mouse. But basically, let's say that this was a full 24 hours. So let's call this the moment that you wake up. That is AM, and then over there we have PM. It's the smallest P we've ever seen. There, PM. So this is all daytime. This is when you've got sunlight. And instead of drawing a moon, let's just call that nighttime. So what should happen in the morning when you wake up We'll use the color blue to represent cortisol. So cortisol is your stress hormone, makes you feel awake and alert. What should happen is cortisol should be really low at night, but as you get exposed to blue light, it will increase throughout the day, and obviously as there's more blue light, because the sun intensity gets higher, your cortisol is going to be higher, and you're getting outside, which you should be doing during the daytime. Cortisol goes higher, and that keeps you awake and alert. Then in the evenings, as you start getting exposed to less blue light, that will start to drop, and then your cortisol levels will stay low through the night so that you can sleep. Now, opposite to cortisol is another hormone, which you've probably heard of, called melatonin. Now, melatonin should let's say in the evening here, it should increase and then stay high throughout the night. So while you're sleeping, it's going to help you to get really high quality sleep. And then in the morning, as you're exposed to blue light, that starts to drop down, and then it stays low throughout the day because you're getting exposed to enough bright light. So the problem that comes in with blue light now is anytime here and beyond, in the nighttime, if you start exposing yourself to artificial blue light, as like the LED lights that we already covered, then basically what happens is instead of seeing this increase over here in melatonin, now your melatonin levels stay low throughout the night. And then going back to our light blue cortisol, now instead of seeing that drop off, now we see a raise in the cortisol. And as you can see, this is a very scientific graph, and you can go and publish this in an article if you want. But basically, this cortisol here, instead of dropping, is going to stay up, and that's going to have a huge impact on your sleep quality, which is going to affect so many different aspects of your health. So blocking out blue light at night, that is why we say blue light is bad, is because one of the biggest problems is people are getting exposed to artificial blue light at night through their cell phones, through lighting in their homes, and that basically means that you're not giving your brain the chance in order to signal to the rest of your body that it is nighttime. And as a consequence, that has a huge effect on your hormones, and then that's going to interfere with your sleep. So I'm not going to finish this video with, I'm not going to go into too many different aspects of how you can block artificial blue light or how you can balance out the red. I actually want to make this a bit more interactive. So if you guys leave a comment in the comment section below, let me know what some of your favorite hacks are. There's different kinds of glasses you can wear. Let me know what your favorite hacks are in order to either block blue light or to add more red light. There's many different things, so let's start a little conversation in the bottom. And then again, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure that you hit the subscribe and notification button, and then we'll make sure that you get notifications as soon as the next video is out. I hope that you guys have a great day further, and if you have any questions, drop them down below as well. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll chat again soon. Cheers.